All right, Nick, let's talk about the Nebraska Cornhuskers. This is a team we're really excited about the offseason they've put together. We like what's been going on in spring ball already, but we always got to look forward to the future. That's what Matt Rule's all about, getting ready, constantly recruiting, getting this team built for continued sustained success. That's how you turn around teams. That's how you become the turnaround master like Matt Rule is. But in this latest news, we have for the Cornhuskers. They're looking way far out, and they've got some really good news about the far future for this team. I think it's going to be really exciting for Nebraska fans. We'll get into that in just a moment. But first, I'm Andrew. That's Nick, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, Nick, let's talk about what is going on at Nebraska. We talk about, they're looking towards the future, but this ain't 2026. This is 2027, already getting a big commitment there. Let's get into the post or tweet on X, and we'll talk more about it on the other side. This, of course, from the great Hayes Fawcett on3 Sports. Go give him a follow for all of your recruiting news for this, and transfer portal news as well for this team. But go ahead, check him out. Great follow. But it says breaking: 4-star quarterback Trey Taylor has committed to Nebraska. The number 3 QB in the 2027 class chose the Cornhuskers over Illinois, Texas A&M, and LSU. There's some pretty stiff competition there. It says committing to Nebraska is amazing, but I still need to prove why I am the best player in 2027 this year. I love that attitude as well. He's committed to Nebraska, but he still wants to prove why he's the best. I think this is a really interesting pickup here for the Cornhuskers. Curious what your thoughts are on this one, Nick. But before we get to you, Nebraska fans, in the comment section below, let us know for the future. We're talking about this, the Nebraska team. We're talking about 2027 now. We're talking about, let's wind it back just 1 year, 2026. This 2026 recruiting class has already been pretty good. There's a lot of strong players in it. Is there anyone that stands out when you look at the future of this team as a guy that you're excited? I know 2026, another year away, but let us know. Is there a guy in that recruiting class that's already started to get some decent players in it that really excites you for the future of this team as spring ball's ending? We got to look forward to the future a little bit until some real football comes back. So let us know 2026 favorite player so far in that class in the comment section below. But nonetheless, Nick, what do you think about this latest for the Cornhuskers?
I think it speaks to the long-term viability of what Matt Rule's trying to do at Nebraska, right? Look, I understand it's a 2027 commit. A lot of things could happen. But this is a 4-star, top 100, 2027 guy. Granted, it's very early, but this is a kid he's playing in Mundelein, Illinois, right? That's a suburb of Chicago. Big name guy already. A lot of big attention from Power 5 schools, elite college football playoff contenders, SEC, Big Ten, across the board, coming for these kid services at this point in the game. Now, Nebraska, they're a program on the upswing, obviously, the way they've gotten over Matt Rule over the past few years, but they're still far from where they want to be and far from, frankly, where they need to be when it comes to competing for big-time recruits. But one of the things Matt Rule has done in every single state, you mentioned the fact he's a turnaround master, is he's found a way for whatever program he's at to get quality recruits, kind of outkick their coverage a little bit, right? He's the guy that can go into these big-time battles and come away with a lot of really high-quality recruits, even though the program isn't ready yet for him yet in terms of having wins, right? Having those 10, 11, 12 win seasons. It would make sense, for example, for a Penn State or an Alabama or a Michigan to get this kid's commit. After all, those are programs that have won double-digit game seasons over the past few years, very successful programs, top 20, top 15 kind of programs. Michigan won the national title a couple of years ago, of course. But when you go to Nebraska, they're not there yet. But still, Matt Rule is able to go and get this kid. And it's not like it's a local guy or a guy who's got, he's not like a Nebraska kid, for example. This is a suburb of Chicago, right? There's a whole state between these two programs, right? But still, Matt Rule and his staff are able to secure this commitment. And like I mentioned there at the beginning, this is a great sign for the future of this Huskers program, because once Dylan Raiola has gone and once the first class has gone and graduate, there's always that question of what's next, right? Matt Rule comes in, he's changing the program up, doing a lot of really good things, and we talked about that a lot. But there's always that sort of short-term, it's something new and shiny and different. And so some recruits get interested by, this is a new program. Maybe I'll go there and check it out. Maybe they're the fun place to be. And eventually that settles down and some programs fade away. A great example of this was TCU not long ago. They were kind of fun and exciting. They had some NFL guys. They made a run in the college football playoff. But what happened, right? They were no longer fun and exciting. They just kind of, it's kind of old news. They kind of die off, right? They kind of lose a lot of their recruiting strength. Now they're kind of a losing program, to be totally honest. Nebraska and Matt Rule, what they've shown is that that's not going to happen in Nebraska. When the initial excitement wears off, when the first round of recruits that they've developed go on and graduate or go on to the National Football League, they're going to have the ability to replace them with just as good, if not better, talent. And to me, that's one of the biggest problems Nebraska has had since the 1990s. They've had some real good seasons. They've had some good players, right? They beat Texas, right? That ball, there were zeros on the clock. I don't care what the replay says. They beat Texas in that conference championship game so many years ago when Ndamukong Suh was there. They've had great players. They've had some really good seasons. They just haven't been able to piece it together. And what happens is they've kind of lost momentum and they've crashed and they've had to restart all over again. This move is a really massive move because it proves, at least to me, and I think you Huskers fans should recognize this as well, that Matt Rule won't allow the crash to happen because he will maintain the recruiting talent that needs to come into Nebraska. This is what he's good at, right? He's good at developing players. We understand that. He's good culture guy. But his number one talent that he's had everywhere he's gone is recruiting. And this latest move, getting Trey Taylor to commit, albeit early in this process, is a great sign for Nebraska.
Yeah, Nick, and when I go through the comments, when I go through all of the statements about Taylor and what Taylor made about Nebraska as well, I like two things. One, I like how it seems that Nebraska recruited Taylor. I think it's a very interesting approach because when he talks, he says, Coach Rule, Coach Thomas have been very genuine. I feel like they can get me better on and off the field. I believe they can get me to the next level, and I think this is going to be the best place for me to develop. Where I figure a lot of coaches like go out and like hype guys up and be like, hey, you're the next best quarterback we've ever seen. Your arm strength elite, your arm talent's elite. We're going to come in and you're just going to be great day one. You really just hype someone up to get them in the door. Then you maybe break them down a little bit and build them back up. But Matt Rule from the get go, it sounds like he's saying, hey, you're good, but I can get you to be better. You come here and we're going to make you improve. And I like that recruiting style. I like someone who's honest up front and saying, hey, we want you to come here because we don't think you have reached your full potential yet. And that is what we're going to unlock here at Nebraska. So I love that. Then I love what they're also saying about him. 24/7 sports director of player scouting, Andrew Evans, says he is a very cerebral quarterback prospect, which is interesting. You don't hear that a ton. You only hear about the athletic gifts, which I know he does have. They say at his best, when he's playing from a structured environment, he uses clean footwork and a sturdy base to attack all parts of the field. He can be dynamic in his when he's faced with pressure. But this is a kid they talk about how he paints the game differently, how he breaks it down differently, and how he is a cerebral quarterback. So I like that aspect. I think it makes him a really intriguing player. So Nebraska doing a lot of good things. I love how Matt Rule's recruiting. I love the type of players they're going after here. I think it's different than a lot of other teams in the NFL or in college are going after, excuse me. But I really love this player, and I hope it lasts. Like we said, it's early on. Things can change in 2 years. But if this kid makes it to Nebraska, I think it's going to be a very interesting prospect and could make a huge impact on the quarterback position going forward.
You hit on something there very important, right? The fact that Taylor mentioned that he liked the way Nebraska and Rule and company were recruiting him and being authentic and genuine. And that's really important, right? This is a new generation, this generation Z, right? In terms of athlete and recruits and all of that. These are guys that have lived on social media and internet since the day they were born. The gone are the days of the old school recruiter coming into your office and just going into your home, excuse me, and just buttering you up and making you feel good, right? Players can go, if they're a good player, if they're a great good prospect, they can go on 24/7 sports. They can go on Twitter or whatever and talk and see how thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people are saying how great they are and how bright their future is, right? They can go on YouTube and listen to yahoos like us talk about them, right? They don't need a college coach to come in and try and butter them up and make them feel good. What they are really looking for is authenticity. They're looking for, hey, how can you make me better, right? They're looking for something real. They're looking for a real relationship with the coaching staff, with the program, with the football team. And that is what Matt Rule and his staff have very intelligently identified and are operating under. They said, listen, I'm sure they're buttering them up. I'm sure they're doing that whole thing too, but they're focusing on, hey, here's how we can help you get better. It's not just hey, you're a great kid. You come to Nebraska, you're going to win games. It's like, hey, you're a great prospect. You come here, we'll teach you how to be a better pocket passer or whatever it may be. We'll put you in good positions so that we can work your way into an NFL caliber quarterback. Whatever they're selling him on, they're selling him on something that he can improve on, something he can buy into, because that's what these kids want. That's what Generation Z wants. They want to be bought into something, to a man. Anyone who's in the corporate work environment who has to be around with Generation Z guys, that's what they want. They want to feel involved. They want to feel the engagement. They don't want the fakery. They don't want the charade. They don't want the pomp and circumstance. They want, hey, how can I be involved? How can I be directly integrated into this team, this company, this football program, so that way I can get better and this team can get better. That's what they're looking for. Rule and his Nebraska staff has identified that. And because of that, by continuing that approach, which I think they will, there's no reason they won't, we'll continue to see more and more recruiting news like this over the coming days, weeks, and months, where Nebraska kind of comes out of nowhere and gets a big commitment just because a lot of these high school kids are going to love what Matt Rule is selling.